With the Aegis Idris, the most powerful playable ship in the game has been added, and we take a detailed look at the 3 currently available options. Because in contrast to the military Idris-M, we have the civilian version with the Idris Peacekeeper, plus 2 currently available upgrade kits. Therefore, we take a close look at the differences and what the 2 upgrade kits bring for advantages and disadvantages. In addition, we take also a look at the abilities of the Idris, especially what is currently solo possible, and a little spoiler, you can't get past this ship right now. With the last price increase to $1,900 for the Idris Peacekeeper version, there are 2 additional upgrade kits, the idris-k for just under 250 warbond or the idris-t package for just under 350. This is the price without taxes. Idris owners of the Peacekeeper variant, or anyone who wants to become one, have to dig deep into the pocket to get an appropriate upgrade kit. So we compare the standard Peacekeeper, the Peacekeeper with the upgrade kit K, and the newly available upgrade kit T, which stands for Torpedo. And here all variants differ, so the Peacekeeper version, regardless of which upgrade kit, only in the outer area. And each version comes with a unique own paint. The standard paint for the standard Peacekeeper variant, without a pointed main armament in the nose, is in this case a light yellow. And without an applied upgrade kit, the Idris does not have the striking and very powerful main armament in the tip. In addition, the standard version lacks 5-point defense towers, which offers significant firepower and more defense. Also, the front gun turret at the main tip remains in the standard. If we turn on an upgrade kit, in this case the idris-k kit, we get a Hurston Dynamics Exodus laser in the front, which stands out strikingly and functions analogously to the Idris-M railgun, as well as the possibility of converting the front turret to a Size-7 rocket turret. Currently, this conversation is ready to use in the persistent universe. In addition, we get 5 additional point defense towers, which we can also use on the ship. And of course, the famous Hurston Dynamics Exodus beam laser. As we will see, an extremely powerful weapon. With the Idris-T kit, the Torpedo kit, we get 4 torpedo launch ramps. And we also have access to 20 size-12 torpedoes, so a maximum of torpedo firepower at this point. In addition, a front turret with a size-7 ballistic cannon, so a clear plus in firepower. And if you are thinking of mixing the different upgrade kits together, so for example the beam laser of the K kit with a size-7 ballistic cannon of the T kit, this is possible. Because the upgrade kits are not used as a whole, but the individual items are added to the corresponding slots. For example, we can install the beam laser, but we don't have to. The same applies to the point defense towers or other types of weapons, such as the different front towers. With a mix of all upgrade kits, you get a strong beam laser weapon and a size-7 ballistic cannon in the nose. And by the way, you can fire the main guns, so the beam laser or the torpedoes, straight from the pilot seat. A shame for Polaris owners. The biggest difference to the military Idris-M is that it has more hit points and is better armored. Also, there are slightly differences in the interior, although we will go into this in a dedicated video. And of course, the Idris-M can use a railgun. But the number of point defense towers, gun turrets and the other outer layout is the same for all variants. The standard Peacekeeper variant, without an upgrade kit, can use 6-point defense towers. The military version, or with an upgrade kit, has additional 5-point defense towers. These automatically fire at the current time, without any AI blades, directly on enemies in range or in approaching torpedoes and missiles. So already now, a lot more firepower and protection, and is completely automatic. There are also some paints available in the shop for resale with the kits, and also a special shark tooth paints we will take a look at. These are from $20 to $30, so no cheap buy. In addition to the yellow standard paint, The upgrade kits also have their own unique paint jobs, and these can only be obtained via the upgrade kits. For example, in the K upgrade kit we have the Marauder paint, which we can see here. In this more military paint we have more black and gray, where the glass fronts and the glazing of the towers are completely transparent. Quite different from the Nightbreak paint included in the T kit. Here we have red applications but completely red glazed cockpits and gun turrets. Here you should try beforehand if this color scheme bothers you permanently. Also, for all variants, the total of 1326 SCU cargo capacity in the hangar or cargo bay is the same. Here we have 1024 in the hangar, 48 SCU in the side room and 302 SCU cargo capacity in the cargo bay. The most interesting point, however, is that the pilot has direct access to the main weapon. That is, if we have applied a kit or have an Idris-M, that is a size 10 weapon for the pilot who is flying at the same time. Quite a difference, for example, a Polaris. This means that with the K kit we have the option of using the huge beam weapon, as well as having access to the size 12 torpedo launcher in the T kit, which has over 20 size 12 torpedoes. So you get no more firepower with any ship as a pilot. But it is still to be expected, with fine adjustments and some balancing. With a length of 240 meters and a width of 125 meters and a height of 45, the Idris is currently the largest ship that can be used by players. We have the option of occupying a pilot, a co-pilot, a captain, 4 bridge stations, 7 man towers and 4 remote towers. So then enough space to accommodate large crews. The technical data. The Idris is equipped with 2 shield generators of size 4, so capital components. 2 size 4 coolers, 1 size 4 gravity generator, 1 size 4 life generator and 8 size 2 batteries. Also, we have 2 size 4 power plants, 1 size 4 quantum drive and 1 size 4 jump drive. Only the radar is only available in size 3. This huge frigate also has the ability to land on planets and outposts and to operate here accordingly. With larger ships, like the Javelin destroyer, this is then no longer possible. But let's get to the most important area, namely the main armaments that the upgrade kits bring with them. Here, above all, the Idris-P variants with upgrade kits and the Idris-M arrive at almost the same DPS for turrets and point defense. Here we are at 90,410 for the upgrade kit variants as well as 20,010 DPS for the Idris-M. The damage of the K variant is a small surprise, because the Idris-M with a railgun reach almost 9,600 DPS with 288,000 alpha damage, while the Idris-K can deal 50,000 DPS with its beam weapon. Alpha damage is not yet known here, but very little, after it is a continuous weapon that permanently causes damage on the target. It's a beam laser. Valid data on the damage output of the T variant, so the size 12 torpedoes, is not yet available. In any case, the K variant can deal some damage with this reusable beam laser without having to reload ammo or fearing other disadvantages. This is currently a game changer. But beware, especially new, very strong ships and abilities often have a noticeable balancing in the future, like the F8. For the torpedo variant, it remains to be seen how the torpedo and rocket gameplay will be implemented in the medium and long term, as we can use 20 size 12 torpedoes from the pilot seat, which can also deal a significant amount of damage, even more than the Polaris. But the Idris series of course offers a lot more gameplay options than only making damage. The most important point is the completely available interior of the hangar, and for this we show you, as promised, the additional shark tooth paint, which is also available in the shop and which of course fits perfectly to the Idris with the shark kill look. With just under $30, however, this is anything but cheap. And here again the note that we provide a complete, detailed review of the interior of the Idris in the various variants as a dedicated video series. Because there are currently no more extensive and larger interiors of ships like the Aegis Idris on the market. Here we need some time to show you everything. For all owners of the Javelin, Kraken and other ships of this category, it is to be expected whether they will receive an Idris as loaner. Javelin owners get the Idris-P, but I think the Idris-M is the better choice. Also, there are some open questions, especially about balancing, the theme of griefers and so on, because with the appearance of the Idris and the possibility to use the main weapon alone with some additional point defense turret, it will face challenges how the balancing in gameplay can be influenced at the moment. Because alone with the mass of point defense towers which are already actively firing at opponents and that are fully automatically, the Idris had enough firepower to keep most opponents in check without any problems. In addition, with the announced AI blades, there are other possibilities, for example, to remote control gun towers and transfer everything to the AI, the perfect extension for solo players incoming. The claim time is over 3 hours, with the possibility to speed up the whole thing for over 100,000 Alpha UEC to just under 50 minutes. The price for a complete refueling or hydrogen or quantum fuel are currently not final. Here, it remains to be seen how expensive an excursion with an Idris will be. With this, the Idris will certainly not be an adequate solution for box missions or other trifles. Especially the running costs are clearly noticeable here. But it is to be expected that we will find a lot of big ships in the verse in the near future, and that for any way of any business. As a mobile mining or salvaging base, for trade, just for fun or for griefing. At this time, there is no ship that offers more firepower, a better defense and more gameplay options currently. But at an incredible price tag. Also, an upgrade from an Idris-P to an Idris-M is also planned. Here we should later have the opportunity to convert our Idris-P into an Idris-M via a very high reputation or to play a purchase option for it. And after we get the Idris, after the Polaris, we can wait for the upcoming Perseus for the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, so some more larger ships in the verse. And hopefully we expect more enough content here, so in the form of missions and other activities for such big ships. But at the end, let's take a look at what we can currently achieve completely solo with an Idris. Currently, the main weapon does not seem to be really balanced yet. Because we can easily kill, also switch fast and small targets, also large distances and targets that are really big. So everything. And for the most opponents, we only need a second or two to get them blown up, thanks to the auto-aim. It is to be assumed that, above all, the main weapon, the beam laser and the torpedoes, is still being adapted in such a way that is not really usable, especially for smaller targets, like light or medium or heavy fighters. A similar constellation already existed with the appearance of the Crusader Ares series, whereby here in the beginning, the armament of the Gatling or the laser cannon was so hit-proof that it is functioned more of a sniper. Here is to be assumed that some balancing will come, because the Idris main armament should actually be ready for larger opponents, from hammerheads and so on. Because at the moment we simply have too much precise firepower with it. But what is your opinion on the newly Aegis Idris in the Peacekeeper variant? Is the price increase justified at $1,900? How do you see the emerge of larger and bigger ships in the Star Citizen universe? Does it really make sense at the moment, or should we wait here until more content is available? Have you already had experiences with griefers and other funfairs that actually only use larger ships for infantry? Or were you able to use the Idris or Polaris in a meaningful way? It is known, not only in the Discord, but of course here also in the video comments or our daily Twitch live streams. And with that I say goodbye with the last impressions against larger battleships such as hammerheads or other Idris frigates. I say goodbye until next time. See you soon and thanks for watching. See you in the verse.